Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. What's up, everybody, here on Facebook, Instagram, digital world? Yikes. I'm Lisa Meta of metamorphize.com. Severin, what's up? I see you there. How are you? Holy shit. Long time. This is the good thing about the digital space is that we get to connect with people we haven't seen or heard from in so long. I love that. I am actively, okay, so actually I'll start here because today is about the addictive mind. And I was just about to say that I am actively spending less time on my phone because, it can be an addiction. And I'm going to be talking about the addictive mind today, just my perspective on it. It's just mine, how I've moved through addiction and my addictive mind. It's not how everyone needs to do it. It's just a little insight into me. And I'm going to pick a tarot card. And hey, everybody. Oh, you're sick? I'm sorry to hear that. Hydrate. If you are joining me here, I'd love to see who's here on Facebook. Leave me an icon or just say hi. Say happy Tuesday. I'm starting at 12 today. See if I can get some people from different parts of the world instead of my morning Tuesday talk. It's Tuesday afternoon. Okay. Wow. Hey, everyone. You actually didn't charge it for the morning so that you couldn't stay away from it. Yeah, I know. Our phones, I think it's the one of the newest and latest and very crazy addiction that I'm seeing and I think we're all seeing is our addiction to our phones. So I'm going to get into all of that in 1 second. I'm just going to see if a few more people come while I just take a little sip of my black coffee. Actually, this coffee, well, another thing I would say I am addicted to. I have moved through so many rounds of looking at things like substances or like coffee as a thing in my life and really asking myself, what is my relationship with coffee? What do I want? People, if you listen to somebody out there, there's always like, don't drink this, don't eat that. And as I was making so many changes, and I'm going to be talking about my story with food in just a second, coffee was one of those where I was like, you know what? Don't touch my coffee. I'll get to that when I get to that. And it's interesting that I'm actually getting to that these days because I'm intermittent fasting. Maybe I'll go backwards in the timeline right now. I'm intermittent fasting every day, 19 hours is my kind of baseline. And I am doing HIIT training workouts. They're just 30 minutes a day. It's amazing. I love short but powerful workouts. And part of the fasting that I had to really step up into is that you can have black coffee during your fasting time. And there was a time where my mind said that I really could never do that, and I believed it, and it was true. I mean, I was like, don't take my coffee away. I'll do anything else. I'll do this diet. I'll try this. I'll try that. Don't touch my coffee. And just that possession around that is something to look at. Just that like attachment, which is really what I'm going to get into here with the addictive mind. So let's dive in. Let's just take a deep breath because I've been actually holding out to have this topic because it's a mother topic for me. It's actually the core of my story. It's the core of the work that I do in the fact that everything I'm now talking about is about mind mastery. And there was a time not too long ago, but I mean, in my life where obsessive thinking had completely taken over my life. And I really was more of the passenger in my life, not the driver. And my tagline is be the creator of your life. And I talk about manifesting and creating what you want and knowing what you want. And that's all because I wasn't doing it. And I had to figure out a way to do it, to figure it out. And I've been holding off on this topic because there's a lot to cover as far as like what I see as our way through and how we can make changes and really get in control of our brains. And there's the science piece to it, which is why my process is called the science of change. Because if you also understand how your mind works, literally, where you fire, you wire concept, then you can start to even, um, number one, give yourself a break, not be so hard on yourself. Because if you're understanding, oh, wait, there's synapses and the neurons are linking together for a reason. I'm not just battling, feeling like I'm battling uphill for no reason. It's actually because every time you're having a repeating thought, you are strengthening that current. And it's holding on, and it's like it doesn't know if it's good or bad. It's just, oh, I'm fat, I'm fat, I can't do it, I can't do it, no, no, no. And it's just strong. And it's a muscle. It's a muscle. The more you use it, the more you strengthen it. That thought that you have repeating over and over and over, which in some ways you become addicted to, and I refer to it a lot as looping, we don't even realize that we're doing it half the time. And it comes from our stories and our programming that then become habits that then are showing up as results in our life. So I'm going to talk right now. I mean, I don't have any of this planned. I never do. Tuesdays is actually my time to just show up here and share from my heart and let you all know that I'm just like you. I maybe I push the live button, but I have suffered from addiction, from my addictive mind. I have felt at times that I couldn't change, that I wasn't going to be able to get out from under it. I grew up learning in my environment that food was love, and it's a beautiful thing to have so much abundance of food around you. And there was so many beautiful memories created through food and eating and family. And as I grew up, I had begun to train myself that I ate to love myself. And the food had become my addiction. But not only that, I just ended up looking to other things to help me feel this love. Now, when I work with people, my clients who either run through my 30 Days to Change program or just want to manifest, I am not really linking to an actual substance, whether it's food or alcohol or people, or it doesn't matter. For me, those substances are actually a symptom of the looping thought. So in my life, like the constant trying to change what I was eating or what I was putting in my body or who I was surrounding myself with never really led me through. And the reason why I'm calling this the addictive mind is because it's the mind that is stuck looping and addicted to a feeling that you're getting from possibly the substance coming in. But there's so many things happening before you decide to pick up the thing. Any drug, any alcohol, sex, people. And the truth is, we are all addicted to something, to many things, and not all of them are bad. And that's so important for us to recognize because it means that we have the capacity to make healthy decisions, that we are having healthy programs that are running. And I think that I didn't remind myself of that for a long time, that there is proof that healthy thoughts and programs do exist. And it's about self-inquiry, self-mastery, and getting to ask yourself first, taking inventory of your life and really getting real. And do you want to change? Do you like the way you're feeling? And I talk so much about the place of suffering for me had to do with limbo. It had to do with indecision. That's where suffering was. Whenever I made a decision and then I went for it and I stuck to it, and then you add consistency, commitment, and support, that's a recipe for success. It was the limbo and the indecision that really drives us crazy. So, yeah, food. So food was just one of them for me. And then, I don't want to get into the substances. I found myself dabbling in lots of stuff, and that's exactly what would start to happen is I would address the food. And then either I had a reward system where I would pick up something else that I started to loop into, or I'd get into the start and stop attitude of things where I was really good at maybe breaking the thought for a little bit, but I never ever would get to, up until now, because I'm in a completely different space right now, I wasn't able to get to the core. And it was a process, and every stage of it was important. Every stage of getting to know myself, every kind of success, failure, success, failure, success, failure was super important along this journey. Never giving up, I think, was the key. I never gave up. I had many periods where I wanted to, but I looked around. Other people were doing it. And I was just talking to somebody else about this around money. If other people are doing it, it means it's possible. And if it means it's possible, you just have to crack the code. You have to find the way that you need to work it for you. So here's an important question I found. Oops, sorry, I just kicked the chair. Here's a very, very important question that I landed on decades into this process. That is what my 30 Days to Change program is basically based on. Is who are you without that fill in the blank? And these are going to hit multiple things in our life. So who are you without that? We can start with the easy stuff on the substance. Like, let's say you feel like you drink too much, or you eat too much, or you don't exercise enough. So who are you without the alcohol? And I realized, as I began to ask myself this question, I had no idea. And that is what I think I realized through the process, is that I was afraid of. I didn't know who I was, so I stayed looping in who I'd be. I didn't know who I would become, so I stayed looping in who I was, because what is that saying? Like, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't, or there's something like that. But it's kind of true. It's like, it's like, oh, I'll just stay in the pain that I know versus the pain that I don't know. Or what I like to really hone in on is the pivot. Most people who come to me and work with me have done a lot of work in the past. They are super clear of their stories. They know, they understand it. But this is what happens. We want to understand, and there's a lot of work in our industries, the self-development industry, about uncovering your old stories and looking at your past, and especially psychology, your parents, where did it come from? Okay. Now, all of that's super valid, and it has a lot of great information inside of it. And what about that moment where you get all of that, and now you say, I'm ready to be different. I want to make a change. Because all of those might be looping addictive mind. So I work with people when they come here. And this here is a pivot moment where you get to honor, say goodbye, with gratitude and love for the person that you have become, to get yourself to the edge of change, to the moment of transformation. A lot of us get here and we don't jump. And it doesn't even have to be a jump. It can just be a step. It can be a gentle transformation. And inside of this little space of pivoting is the unknown. It is nothingness and everythingness. It's just possibilities, endless possibilities. And in this deck, the Osho Zen Tarot deck, there's a card called nothingness. It's called no-thingness. It's pure potential. The card is completely black. And it reminds me of how I'm an artist, and I look at the blank page canvas when I'm about to paint. And it's one of the most overwhelming, uncomfortable moments for me in my art experiencing and the creativity process, because it's like endless possibilities exist right there in front of me, and accessing the courage and all of the moments of just going, just step by step, color by color, brush by brush, stroke by stroke, we go and we create. And I guess in this moment that I'm illuminating here of change and unknown and possibilities, it's like there's no rush to go from facing the past that might have brought you inside of lots of looping experiences that you no longer want. And you come to that moment where you get to ask yourself, who am I without that? That is the minute you open up to possibility. Just that question alone holds everything. I see a few people here. I'd love to know who's here. Say hi. So that moment changed my life. And I know it's so simple, and you might be saying, oh, you've already asked yourself that many times. Maybe you have. I don't know. I just know that that started to get me thinking differently, and it gave birth to a whole program. A whole program that then became, my 30 Days to Change program became focused on small incremental shifts to build back the trust in ourselves that we lose along the way while we're buying into the addictive mind, thinking that that's real. It's an illusion. But because, at least for me, there was so many start, stop, fail, succeed moments in trying to achieve something, I remember feeling really defeated. Like I had a very defeatist mentality in my life where I don't know, I kind of was like, what's the point? I remember saying that lots of times. And I'm like, well, what else are you going to do? You just got to get back up and keep going, but try something different. And trying something different meant, okay, it feels like a lot of the time we're trained to go big or go home, or, we take on more than we bite off more than we can chew. I mean, there's even analogies out there that are based in those concepts of not really learning how to take on doable, small, incremental changes that set you up for success. So, yeah, that is part of setting yourself up for success and beginning to rebuild the trust in yourself that you might have lost by getting lost inside of an addictive mind. So what do I mean by addictive mind? I don't even really think that I've taken a moment. So as I was saying, where you wire, you fire. So an addictive mind is a mind that is attached to a thought and repeats it. And not only repeats it, but follows through with it becoming not only a thought, but a habit that then leads to a result. The result could mean the literal of eating something. Now, the addiction cycle also follows after that, that brings you through the, what did I just do? What did I just do? Like, I feel like shit now. And then to feed that feeling, for me, literally, it looped me back into then either eating or doing something that kept me inside of the addiction, attachment, feeding. I pulled out this book because it was one of this and another mentor of mine began to illuminate the fact that when we repeat the hunger within, well, this one happens to be about compulsive eating. But it doesn't matter. This is not about eating. This is about understanding that when we're doing something, any addictions that we have are actually based in love. We're trying to find a way to love ourselves. We're trying to actually fill something that feels missing. So this is sometimes hard to look at, and you don't always have to even go diving into what's missing. I think what I've learned is that if you think about a muscle, and we look at this like the muscle, if you stop using it, it will atrophy. So if you start building a new one, it will start to bring strength. What do I mean by that is, okay, so if we take a small, little, tiny thing to do for 30, 60, 90 days or whatever, and let that begin to counter this one. So instead of focusing on what you don't want to do anymore, you start focusing little by little on what you're bringing more into. You begin to tip that scale. You begin to grow the muscle back of trusting yourself, of being able to make decisions, because addictions start to chip away at your self-esteem, at your ability to trust yourself, because a lot of the things you have to do can feel like sneaky and lying. And yeah, I mean, there's those are real things. I did it to myself mostly. It wasn't always like to other people, but I snuck a snack or two behind people's backs. I closet ate. It's okay. It's okay if you do things like that. Um, so yeah, I think I'm just checking my notes over here. I talked about the moment we pivot and asking ourselves, it's like really allowing yourself to fully grow and become someone new. These are identity shifts. These are frequency shifts that I'm talking about having when you begin to look at your addictive mind and ask yourself, who am I without that thing? It could be a person, it could be a habit, it could be a thought, it could be a substance. And most of the time we want to change. This is what I was just saying, but we fear who we will become because the unknown of what lies ahead is so much stronger than the familiar harm. Even though you're secretly waking up feeling and saying things to yourself that you don't want to be here anymore, you don't want it. Ugh, our minds are so tricky. They are so powerful. They know exactly what to say, how to say it to you so you believe it. And it's saying it so much that one of the most powerful, and that's why getting help along these journeys could be really good. It's because one of the most confusing parts of this journey for me that happened multiple times, but there was a lot of big ones. I would say three really big ones, was when I became aware that what I was experiencing as wrong was actually right. Because I had trained myself to do things and believe things the way I wanted. And I was like, of course they happen this way. Like, what are you talking about? Like, of course. And when I began the process of changing my mindset and of the rewiring and the resetting, it blew my mind. And I had to accept that, and I would say this to myself, that I could be wrong. It's okay, you could be wrong. And I remember it on such a basic level of like, I didn't even know what hunger felt like. I didn't even know I knew what full was, but I had to retrain myself to eat like a child. It was crazy. I had to revert way back to, this journey has been long. I just like got emotional thinking about it. Whew. Yeah, I'm just really proud to be able to do this live today. Like I said, it's been a long time coming because I am on the other side, and I guess this is my way of saying you could do it too. And there's so many people along the way that I would see them doing it, and I'm like, what? Like, I want to get through. Oh, there is another side. Like, can I get through? You just can't give up. You just cannot give up, okay? Because this addictive mind and the way that our brains work it's like a computer, literally, with programs. So my invitation is to begin to understand literally the science behind how your mind works. Always, I mean, I'm available if you want to get in touch to just start breaking things down. Um, I'm a coach, so if you want to work with me, let me know. And if this is type of thing resonates with you, where you feel like you want to make changes in your life, but you find yourself repeating and looping back to the same thing, and you just want to like bust through and break through and really like have an identity shift. We're going to bring all the good things because you've become this person for a reason, and everything is here to teach you something. Okay? And not only teach you, but protect you. Like, all these things that we do are just trying to protect us. So it's about getting to know yourselves, listening to the dialogue that you're having with yourself. You know, so much of my journey has been about meditation and going inward and breath work. And there's Manifest and Mingle tonight at 5:30 for anyone who wants to come and charge up your vision and breathe some life into it. So that's me. And thank you for anyone who has listened and been here for anything I just said, because this is really this live out of all of them really means a lot to me. So we're gonna pick a tarot card. Oh, I had one other book I was gonna bring out real quick, and then we're gonna pick the tarot card. So I said The Hunger Within, which is definitely about food, but this was also more about you kind of asking what's missing in your life and look at the fact that you're filling your life with something because you may not want to feel something else. And the other book is The Artist's Way, because The Artist's Way, if any of you know this, is to Julia Cameron. This also changed my life, and I love to give resources on these lives because, okay, so this is about creativity, but what this really did for me is what I just said is you must get clear about what you're saying to yourself. So having to wake up and do where she has you do these morning pages, which for me was like brain drain, and I would wake up, I wouldn't even get out of the bed. I would have my pen, my paper, and it would be chicken scratch because I didn't need to read it later. It was bleh. But man, before I woke up, I would already work through so much stuff. And then what happened was I would get up, that stuff was out, and it started to open up. Scary sometimes too, like the truth, because I wasn't being um, busy repeating that addictive shit of like what's not working, who can I like complain about in my head, and all the bullshit that's like I don't like this about me, blah 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 blah. That's the addictive mind taking over. Brain drain it out, get it out, get in touch with what you're saying to yourself, and then it goes to the next phase of everything. It's going to be how you reframe it, and that's what I am. I guess that's like one of my specialties is reframing, but like you have a choice in your life how you're moving through and what words you're using, the frequency, the people you hang out with, and everything travels with its counterpart. So you can say like the negative of it or the positive of it, and you're going to, that's the meter, you're going to attract more people who talk this way or more people who talk this way. You're going to attract more of it coming at you if you're like, I feel abundant versus I feel broke. Ew, I hate the B word. I don't know why I just used that one as an example. Anyway, here we go. So let me know what any takeaway is if you're watching this on a replay, or just put in hashtag replay. And or if you're here live right now, what's a takeaway? Anything I've said resonate? How are you doing with your addictive mind? I'd love to know. Thank you for witnessing me and my vulnerability. It's nice to just, I guess, reflect how far I've come and still doing it, you know? This fasting's no joke. Now, the fasting right now is really have me making a relationship with food I never thought I would have, which is, I don't like eating. Like, what is that? How much fuel do we really need? You know, like if you eat for fuel to move your body, man, you don't really need that much. And then when you do eat it because you fasted so long, you care what you're putting in your body. It's a whole new world. Oh my God. It's changing my life. And actually, I feel like I'm shifting on a cellular level, and I'm losing weight that it's not the way I've lost weight. And it's like melting off because it's just it's all the stories. Can't even explain it. It's brilliant. If you want any support with fasting or foods that, oh my God, I just dropped all the cards. Foods that you're eating or how you can get onto a plan. Usually if a card falls, that's the card, but so many fell, it's too much. Okay, here we go. Picking the card. Okay, now this card is for our addictive mind. This card is, what do we need to know and to go on this journey of healing addictions and ways that our minds are holding us back from becoming the pure potential that we are. God, I went longer today. I knew I was going to go longer because this topic is charged for me. All right, here we go. Yeah, interesting. Laziness. Actually, this is really is kind of the way that the mind will work. It's either going to go on default or it's going to go on design. Your default programming is you being lazy sometimes. Because if you're just following, yeah, you're just letting it run. You're the passenger, not the driver. You're this guy just chilling back there but not really taking the step, the mental step and the physical step. I mean, I wanted to pretend like it should be easy. And I guess it is easy when you end up deciding and you go all in, it's easy. But the truth is shit is hard sometimes. Like really going up against a moment of resistance and just being like, no. And that's what the mind masteries that I have in the 30 Days of Change program like really address is like staying steady, stay focused in your commitment to what, remember the pivot of where you want to go and attaching to how it's going to feel later. Because that's the other thing I didn't even bring up. Addictions are so momentary. Oh my God, it's all about feeling good in the moment. This guy is just feeling really good right now, but then he's going to finish his drink. And you can't necessarily, I don't know if you see it, but they show, oh, it's on this side, that the glass is cracking behind him because he doesn't even realize that it's about to go shattering and crumbling down. So being lazy also comes to a moment where it's going to crash. And this is an emotion card. It's blue, so it has to do with feeling. And I guess if there's one word to really sum up today is feel. You're feeling so you're addicted because you're afraid to feel something. In the meantime, you're feeling other things that you don't want to be feeling. You have to choose how you want to feel and move through life. Your thoughts are your choice. It goes one thought at a time, one breath at a time, and one step at a time. All right? I hope you've enjoyed this Lisa Tuesday Talk episode on the addictive mind. If you want any support, I have coaching programs that can help you move through and become the master of your mind and the creator of your life. This is Lisa signing off. You got this. I believe in you. Peace out. Boom.